Ramsey there. Well, joining us is Arash Aramesh, the national security analyst at Stanford University in California. Arash, very good of you to speak to us on Sky World News. Putin and Obama seem to have very different interpretations of how their phone call went last night. We all know history tells us that it's very easy to start a war, very, very difficult, though, to get out of one. What factors, after that conversation, do you think America will be weighing up right now?
Well, the president has a number of options that he can exercise. The threat of sanctions have been weighed, and the European Union today, leaders of European countries met in Brussels to consider the option of imposing targeted sanctions and asset seizures against the Russian Federation. There is something we call the Treasury's 311 sanctions. This is the Section 311 of the Patriot Act that allows the executive branch to do targeted sanctions, to do asset seizures, to do things that will actually hurt those in Russia who are decision makers, such as President Putin, his immediate family, people around him, and the families of the oligarchs around the world who care about their shopping sprees in Paris and London. But I don't think anybody at this point is going to commit troops to Ukraine to fight Russian forces. That would be disastrous. And no one wants to elevate and escalate this from a diplomatic tension into a real hot war.
That being said, though, sanctions aside, if Crimea, the people of Crimea, vote for closer ties to Moscow and vote to split from the rest of Ukraine, how do you think the international community might be forced to respond?
This is the year 2014, and President Obama said earlier in his statement that this is the time of trying to redraw borders over the head of democratic governments. It's over. The referendum that is going to be held next week in Crimea, by all means, is illegal and unconstitutional, according to Ukrainian law and according to international law. This is, for all practical purposes, a region of another country under occupation. So if the Crimeans decide to vote and secede from the Ukraine, we're going to see a sort of re-intensification of tensions between the United States, NATO allies, the West, European Union, and the Russian Federation. By the way, keep in mind that a lot of these actions that President Putin is taking and undertaking, and also some of the rhetoric that is coming out of the Kremlin, is also pandering to his own domestic audience that has for many, many years longed for a strong Russian leader to come out and stand up against the West. So his popularity is actually not suffering that badly. But again, the threat of sanctions can tank the Russian market. We already saw what happened last week to the Moscow Stock Exchange, and they can really sting, and they can sting pretty badly.
OK, Arash Aramesh, many thanks for speaking to us on Sky World News. Thank you.